The signal from the ruins. The red veil was not a place for heroes. Space around it was dead. No stars, no planets, no sound. Only drifting metal and broken ships. People said it was cursed, but Jace Ramon didn't believe in curses. He believed in salvage. His ship, the Stargazer, was old but strong. Jace lived alone on it, hunting for scraps across dead zones. Most days were quiet. But today, something strange happened. The distress signal was weak, a soft beep lost in the noise of space. Most scanners would have missed it, but Jace was careful. He followed the signal through clouds of dust and frozen wrecks, deeper into the red veil. When he found the ship, it didn't look like anything human. Smooth lines, silver hull, no markings. "What are you?" he whispered. He docked slowly. His boots touched metal that hummed with power. Inside, it was silent. No lights, no signs of life. Just cold air and long shadows. He walked down, a narrow corridor, flashlight shaking in his hand. Something felt wrong. Not dangerous, just sad. At the end of the corridor, he found a vault, sealed, locked by strange alien symbols. "This must be the source," Jace said. He pulled out his tools, hands steady. The lock was advanced, but not perfect. After a few minutes, the vault door hissed open. Jace stepped back. Inside, something moved. It was a girl, not human. Her skin was pale blue, glowing faintly. Long silver hair fell across her face. Her body was thin, almost weightless. Blood, shining like liquid stars, leaked from a wound in her side. She looked at Jace with wide, frightened eyes. Then she spoke, but her mouth didn't move. "Please help me." Jace blinked. He hadn't heard her voice. He had felt it, inside his mind. "What? Who are you?" he asked. Her lips trembled. She tried to speak again, this time with sound, but it was broken. Soft. Instead, she reached out her hand. "I am dying. They left me here. Please, don't leave me." Jace had seen many things in space. Pirates, monsters, machines that ate planets. But nothing like this. He hesitated only a second. Then he lifted her gently into his arms. Her skin was cold. Too cold. Back on the Stargazer, he laid her on the medical bed. The scanner couldn't read her vitals. The system beeped in confusion. "I'll do what I can," Jace muttered. He cleaned the wound, sealed it, gave her warmth and water. Her eyes closed, but her breathing slowed. For now she was stable. An hour passed. Jace sat beside her, watching. Then, alarms screamed. "What the—" On the screen, 3 ships appeared outside the wreck. Black, silent, no markings. They scanned the area, paused, then slowly turned and vanished into the dark. Jace's heart pounded. "They were looking for you," he whispered. Behind him, the girl opened her eyes. She stared at the ceiling, lips barely moving. Run her voice filled his head like thunder. Jace jumped, turned, and met her gaze. "Who are they? My family?" "My killers." Jace stared at her. "Why would your family try to kill you? Because I lived, and because I took something they wanted." She closed her eyes again. A tear slid down her cheek. It shimmered like light. Jace stood still for a long moment. Outside, the stars remained silent. In that moment, Jace made a choice. He didn't understand the girl. He didn't know what she had done. But he knew one thing. Hunted by her own kind, the engines whispered as the Stargazer slipped through the dark. Jace sat in the pilot seat, one hand on the controls, the other resting near the emergency throttle. He kept checking the radar, watching for movement. The silence in space was heavy, like something was holding its breath, and Jace didn't like it. Behind him, in the small medical bay, the alien girl slept. Her chest rose and fell, slow but steady. Jace had done his best. The wound on her side was closed now, sealed with medical gel and wrapped in soft cloth. Her Skin still glowed faintly in the dim light like the moonlight trapped in a dream. Her name was Ayla. She had whispered it into his mind while he cleaned her wound. No last name. No title. Just Ayla. But the way she looked at him, the way she spoke without sound, made him feel like she was something ancient, something lost. He couldn't stop thinking about what she said. Her family had tried to kill her. Not strangers, not enemies, family. And those black ships, the ones that appeared and vanished outside the wreck, they weren't pirates. They had been searching, tracking, hunting. And now Jace had become part of whatever nightmare she was running from. A soft chime broke the silence. Jace leaned forward, checking the display. Motion behind them, distant, but closing. Small ships, fast and silent, not broadcasting any signal. They found us, he muttered. He switched the stargazer into silent mode, cutting most systems and rerouting power to engines and shields. The ship dimmed. Lights flickered. It felt like hiding under a blanket, hoping the monsters would pass by. Ayla woke then. Jace didn't hear her move, but suddenly she was standing beside him, her eyes fixed on the radar screen. Her face was calm, too calm. They are not here to scare you. They are here to kill me. Her voice echoed in his head, quiet but heavy. You need to tell me what's going on, Jace said. Why do they want you dead? Ayla sat down slowly in the co-pilot seat. Her body looked fragile, like a shadow, about to fade. But her eyes were sharp, ancient. I was born to a throne of lies. My people ruled by fear. They drained worlds, stole energy from suns, used machines to eat time itself. I was a tool, a symbol. But I saw the truth. She paused, touching her side. I escaped with something they need, something they fear. Jace stared at her. What is it? She looked at him, and for a moment something flickered in her eyes. Not fear, not pain. Something close to guilt. It's inside me. I bonded with it before I understood what it was. Now, I can't let them have it. If they take it, they will restart the Great Harvest. 10,000 stars will die. The words didn't make full sense to Jace, but he didn't need to understand it all. He could feel it. Something terrible was coming. And she was at the heart of it. The radar beeped again. The ships were closer now. They're locking on, he said. We need to move. Ayla placed her hand on the console. For a second, the lights blinked, and the ship's systems responded like they knew her. Screens shifted. Routes opened. A hidden map lit up on the navigation grid. Go here, through the debris field. They won't follow. Jace narrowed his eyes. How do you know that? Because they fear what's in there. He didn't have time to argue. He pushed the engines, steering the stargazer into the jagged field of broken satellites and ancient war wreckage. The space around them turned sharp, full of spinning metal and shattered hulls. Jace gritted his teeth and flew through it, weaving. Between burning husks and floating mines, the enemy ships followed at first. Then, one by one, they pulled back. You were right, Jace said. Why do they fear this place? Ayla didn't answer right away. Her eyes stared into the debris, unfocused. This is where the first rebellion began. My people destroyed it, but the ghosts still whisper. Jace felt a chill crawl down his spine. Once they were clear, Jace slowed the ship and turned to her. You saved us. Thank you. But if we're going to survive this, I need more than half answers. I need the whole truth. Ayla nodded slowly. Then she touched her temple. A soft glow pulsed from her skin, and a small crystal rose from her wrist. It floated in the air, spinning slowly. This is my memory. My proof. Everything you need to know. But you must see it for yourself. Jace reached out and caught the crystal. It felt warm. Alive. What happens if I watch this? You'll see the moment the stars began to scream. And with those words, the lights in the room dimmed. And Jace knew his life was never going to be the same again. The memory crystal. The crystal was silent in Jace's palm, but it pulsed like it had a heartbeat. He held it carefully, like it might shatter or explode. Ayla sat across from him, quiet and still, her eyes locked on the glowing shard between them. There was something different in her gaze now. Not fear, not pain, something deeper. Like sorrow and hope tangled into one. "You must see," she said in his mind. "But once you do, there is no turning back." Jace gave a slow nod. He placed the crystal into the reader slot built into the console. The machine hummed, then stopped. The lights in the ship dimmed, and then the room vanished. In its place came light. He wasn't sitting anymore. He wasn't on the Stargazer. He wasn't even in his body. He was inside Ayla's memory. At first, it was like floating. Stars swirled around him, colors too bright and too soft at the same time. Then shapes formed. Towers of light, ships like cities, people with eyes like galaxies. He stood on a balcony above a glowing planet. The air was thick with music and voices. The city below pulsed with power, but not the good kind. It felt like it was feeding on something hidden, something dying. Beside him, Ayla stood dressed in gold and silver. She looked younger. Her eyes were wide, her smile practiced. This was her home. Then came a flash. The memory shifted. Dark halls, screams in the air, alarms blaring. Ayla ran down endless corridors of polished black stone. Behind her, shadows moved. Soldiers in sharp armor, weapons drawn. But she wasn't carrying treasure. She was clutching a tiny case. Inside, a silver organism pulsed, alive and aware. "This is it," she whispered in the memory. "This is what they fear." Jace felt its presence too. The artifact wasn't a machine. It wasn't a weapon. It was a seed. Something ancient, something powerful. And it was calling to stars, asking them to live again. Then, the doors burst open. Her brother appeared, dressed in royal black, his face hard and empty. "You don't understand what it can do," he said. "You're a child playing with fire." "No," she told him. "I finally understand. It can save what we've destroyed. It can end the hunger." He didn't answer. He raised his hand. The shot hit her side. As she fell, time slowed. Her blood rose like stars from her skin. The case shattered. The artifact reached for her and wrapped itself around her heart. And then Jace was back in the Stargazer. He stumbled, coughing, his mind spinning. The lights were still dim, the air too still. Ayla reached out and touched his shoulder. "You saw," she said softly, not in his head. She used real words this time. They were broken, rough. But her voice was real. "Yeah," Jace breathed. "I saw." He stared at her. "Why didn't you destroy it?" Ayla shook her head. "It wants to live. It chooses. It chose me." Jace sank into the chair, rubbing his eyes. "And now your people want it back." "No," she said. "They want it dead. It can't be removed from me. Not without killing both of us." He looked at her again. Really looked. The glow in her skin wasn't just light, it was the artifact. It was part of her now. "Why did it choose you?" Ayla's lips curved into the smallest smile. "Because I was the first to cry for a dying world. The others, they only fed." Silence fell between them. Jace stared at the screen. The radar was quiet for now. The enemies had pulled back, but not for long. "What do we do now?" he asked. Ayla closed her eyes. "There is a place, a hidden base, far in the outer fringe. They have knowledge, old knowledge. They might know how to extract the artifact safely, or at least protect it." Jace thought for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Set a course," he said. Ayla's fingers brushed the console. A new path lit up, a hidden route, weaving through forgotten systems and dying suns. As the Stargazer turned toward the edge of known space, Jace leaned back in, his seat staring at the stars. He had come out here for scrap, for junk and silence. Now he was carrying a girl with a living weapon inside her and a price on her head bigger than any treasure in the galaxy. But somehow he didn't feel afraid. Not yet. Allies in the dust. The outer fringe was where the galaxy went to forget itself. Broken moons spun like rusted coins around dead stars. Old war machines floated in silence, their signals long since lost. This was the place where law had no voice, and memory had no weight. Jace Ramon had never planned to return, but now, with Ayla lying quiet in the medbay and the artifact burning softly beneath her skin, he had no other choice. The stargazer limped into the orbit of Dusthaven, a cracked desert world where the air stung and nothing grew unless it was angry. The landing was rough. Engine 3 sputtered and cut out, and Jace had to wrestle the controls just to keep them from slamming into the ground. Sand flew as the ship skidded to a stop near the old port gates. Outside, the heat shimmered like a fever dream. Half-melted buildings leaned sideways in the sun. Scavengers watched from rooftops, their eyes hidden behind tinted goggles. They didn't move. They didn't speak. Just waited to see if the new arrival was prey or trouble. Jace holstered his sidearm, stepped off the ramp, and looked around. Home sweet hell, he muttered. Ayla followed behind him, wrapped in a cloak. She kept her head down, her glow hidden beneath fabric. Even half awake, her presence drew attention. She was too still, too quiet, too strange. They headed for the only place Jace trusted, the wreck yard, a metal jungle of crashed ships and scavenged parts. In the center stood a wide shack made of warship plating and old banner cloth. Jace pushed the door open. The woman inside didn't look up. She was building something with a plasma cutter, sparks flying in the dim room. "You're late," she said. "You didn't know I was coming," Jace replied. "I'm still right." She turned. Captain Mori was broad-shouldered, scarred, and full of metal where bones had once been. Her left eye glowed red, a relic from a war nobody remembered anymore. When she saw Ayla, her face changed. "You brought an alien," she said flatly. "She's not just an alien," Jace said. "She's carrying something they'll kill whole systems to get back." Mori crossed her arms. "You want me to help? Then earn it." Jace frowned. "How? There's a race tonight. Small ships. Illegal. Dirty. But the prize is a pass. To the hidden fringe. No pass, no access. Win and I help you. Lose and I sell your ship for parts." Jace sighed. "You always were generous." Mori grinned. "One more thing," she said. "Your competition? They don't play fair." By sundown, the race strip was packed. Crowds cheered from rusted towers. Pilots stood by their junk rigs, hovercraft, patched with fury and duct tape. Jace stood by a borrowed racer, checking the controls. The engine hissed like a wounded animal. Perfect. Ayla stood in the shadows, watching. Her eyes were calm, but her hands trembled. "Be careful," she whispered into his mind. "Always," he replied. When the horn blared, the racers shot forward, sand exploding behind them. Jace pushed hard, weaving through fire traps and crumbling stone arches. Drones hovered, capturing every second for the crowd. Behind him, one racer tried to ram his side. Jace cut left, sent the other into a spike trap. Halfway through, he saw the leader drop mines. Jace smiled grimly and jumped the rig off a dune, clearing the blast. The ship screamed in protest but held together. As he hit the final stretch, a plasma bolt struck his left wing. Someone in the crowd was cheating. Jace leaned forward, eyes sharp. The finish line burned in the sun. With a roar, he slammed the throttle past the final racer and crossed first. The crowd erupted. Dusthaven loved a wild win. Mori waited at the edge. She tossed him a chip. "Your pass. Now come with me. You've got more problems than you know." Back in the shack, Ayla sat on the floor, eyes shut tight. Mori kneeled beside her. "You're burning up," she said. Ayla opened her eyes. Light poured from them, brighter than before. "It's waking up," she whispered. "The artifact knows we're close." Mori turned to Jace. "We need to move now. The longer it stays inside her, the more unstable it becomes." Jace nodded. Then let's fly. As they returned to the stargazer, Ayla stopped. She looked up at the sky. Behind the clouds, something moved. Something big. They're coming, she said. Jace felt his stomach drop. How fast? Ayla looked at him, her voice barely a whisper. The secret beneath her skin, the stars above the stargazer, felt wrong. They didn't blink like they used to. They pulsed, as if breathing, watching, waiting. Jace leaned over the console, fingers tight on the controls. The engines whined, pushed, harder than they should, and he could feel every bolt trembling. Maury sat in the co-pilot seat, checking systems and prepping weapons just in case. Ayla lay on the medbed behind them, still wrapped in her cloak, but the glow underneath had grown brighter. Too bright she hadn't spoken in hours, not out loud, not in his mind. She only groaned now and then, her back arching like something inside her was pulling the strings. Jace had seen wounds before, seen infection, poison, even alien parasites. This was none of those. This was change. They were headed toward the outpost known only as Station Hollow, a floating shell of a space lab that drifted between dead systems. Nobody lived there now. Just old doctors, half-mad engineers, and machines that never stopped learning. It was the only place left that might understand what lived inside Ayla, or how to take it out, but the closer they got, the worse she became. Her skin burned with lines of light, veins turned gold. Every breath she took made the air tremble like a speaker too close to the edge of feedback. Jace tried to talk to her, to touch her, but the energy pushed him back like static fire. Maury stepped away from the bed. We have to act fast, she said. That thing is waking up, and when it's fully aware, she's gone. You mean it'll kill her? Jace asked. Maury didn't answer right away. She looked at the glowing lines racing down Ayla's arms. No, she finally said, it'll become her. The words landed like a punch. They docked at Station Hollow quietly. No welcoming party. Just a long metal tunnel, flickering lights, and air that smelled like chemicals and old memories. Jace carried Ayla himself. She felt lighter now, but not in a good way, like her body was less there, less real. Dr. Kalen was waiting. He was old, human, and walked like his bones no longer cared if they held him up. His eyes were mechanical, silver lenses with spinning cores. He didn't speak when he saw Ayla, just motioned them to follow. The lab was cold. Clean. Too clean. Machines hissed and blinked, arms moving in slow circles. Jace laid her on the exam table, heart pounding. What's inside her? Jace asked. Dr. Kalen touched a device to her chest. It lit up with a sound that wasn't quite music. Life, he said. Or something pretending to be. He ran tests. Strange tools scanned her body, sending waves through the room. Maury watched from the corner, one hand always near her gun. After an hour, Kalen turned to Jace. The artifact is older than this galaxy, he said. A seed, designed to grow inside a host until it finds purpose. If it likes the host, it bonds. If it doesn't, it burns through them until it finds another. Jace clenched his fists. So what happens if we remove it? Then she dies, Kalen said. The connection is too deep. And if we leave it? Then she becomes something new. Something neither alien nor human. Something the universe may not be ready for. Jace looked down at Ayla. Her eyes fluttered. Her mouth moved without sound. The glow under her skin spread now to her neck, her face, her fingertips. Then her eyes snapped open, not glowing, not human. Both. She sat up. It's talking to me, she whispered. It's showing me everything, every war, every dying star. It remembers before there were names for time. Maury stepped forward. Can you control it? Ayla shook her head. No, she said, but it listens, and it trusts Jace. Jace blinked. Me? Ayla turned to him, her voice calm and clear. It sees your soul, your choices. You didn't leave me. You didn't try to use me. That's rare. Dr. Kalin took a slow step back. Then it may accept a bond transfer. What does that mean? Jace asked. You link with her mind, stabilize the connection, share the burden, become its guardian together. Jace looked at Ayla. She nodded once. We'll do it, he said. They laid side by side, their hands linked. Kalin activated the neural bridge, a web of light wrapping around them both. Jace felt the heat first, then the flood. Visions poured into him, stars being born, stars screaming as they died, whole civilizations rising and falling like waves, and always at the center, the seed, the artifact. Waiting for someone to understand it wasn't a weapon. It was a mirror. He saw Ayla's pain, her fear, her hope, her loneliness. And then she saw his. He didn't fight it. He let her in. The bridge ended in silence. Jace sat up, breathing hard. Ayla opened her eyes. They were calm again, still glowing but soft. We're linked, she said. It's quiet now. Maury looked between them. That was risky. Yeah, Jace said. But worth it. Then alarms blared. Radar picked up movement. Incoming ships, Kalin said. Not local, cloaked, heavy firepower. Ayla stood, her body pulsing with new light. They're here, she said. And they brought death with them. Jace tightened his gloves, heart racing. Let them try, he said. Her final breath, his final stand. The lights in Station Hollow turned red. Not flashing. Not blinking. Just red. Deep, steady, and endless. Like the eyes of something ancient. Waking up and looking straight through the walls. The ground trembled under Jace's boots. He looked up at the ceiling, then at Ayla, who stood at the center of the lab, arms slightly lifted as if balancing something too heavy to touch. Her skin was brighter than before. The golden lines across her body now moved like they were alive, flowing, shifting, changing with each heartbeat. Dr. Kalin backed away, whispering to himself. Maury pulled her rifle off her back and checked the charge. They're not knocking this time, she muttered. They're coming straight through the walls. Jace ran to the console, pulled up the external scans. 6 ships, massive, sleek, and cloaked in dark matter plating. Broke formation just beyond the asteroid field. Their weapons were already hot. One was charging what looked like a solar lance, enough to split a small moon in half. They don't want to capture her, Jace said, voice cold. They want to erase her, no trace. Ayla looked at him. Because the seed has chosen, she said. And that choice broke their control. Outside, the airlock groaned. Metal bent inward. They had minutes. We need to run, Jace said. Maury shook her head. They'll shoot us down before we hit orbit. The only way out is to distract them. Kalin pointed at the map. There's one thing they don't expect. Beneath this station, deep in the core, is a power nexus. A relic, older than the Empire, tied to the same energy inside her. Ayla turned toward him slowly. Elion's womb, she whispered. You know it? Kalin asked. I don't. But the seed does, she replied. It remembers. Jace grabbed her hand. Will it help? It might, she said. But someone has to guide the energy. Someone has to become part of it. Maury stepped forward. No one's dying here, not today. But Ayla shook her head. This isn't about death, it's about giving everything to stop the wrong hands from taking what isn't theirs. Her voice was calm, but her body swayed. Jace steadied her. You can't do this alone. I'm not, she said. I'll take you with me. They moved fast, down through broken corridors, past sealed doors, through chambers filled with echoes and dust. At the bottom of the station was a room that didn't belong. It wasn't built. It had grown, carved into the rock like it had waited to be found. Its walls pulsed with veins of silver and light, mirroring the glow under Ayla's skin. In the center was a cradle of stone. Not a machine, not alive, something between. It pulsed like a heartbeat. This is it, Kalin whispered. Elion's womb. Ayla stepped forward, The cradle responded to her instantly, rising slightly, opening like petals of glass. It welcomed her, but she didn't step in. She turned to Jace. "You gave me hope," she said softly. "Now let me give you something back." Jace frowned. "What are you talking about?" She reached for him. Her fingers rested against his chest. "The seed knows you," she said. "It trusts you. More than me now. Because you chose to protect, not control." Jace's throat tightened. "You said we'd do this together." Ayla smiled gently. "And we will." Her other hand rose. "But only if one of us can carry the burden. Only if one of us makes the choice." Jace didn't pull away. He just nodded. The cradle shifted again. A glow surrounded them both. Their minds touched like before, but deeper this time. Jace saw her whole life, every scar, every betrayal, every hope she had buried. She saw him too, his loneliness, his anger, the strength he never thought he had. The seed pulsed between them, and then it chose again. Light exploded across the chamber, not a scream, not pain. A warmth that filled the space like sunrise. Jace felt it enter him, not as a weapon, not as a curse, but as a promise. When the light faded, Ayla was gone. Just gone. Her cloak lay folded at the foot of the cradle. Her voice lingered in his mind, soft and fading. "Thank you for seeing me." Jace collapsed to his knees, breath shallow, vision blurred, but the station didn't tremble anymore. It stood still. Outside, the enemy ships closed in. Maury's voice cracked, over the comms. "Jace, you've got seconds. We need a miracle." Jace stood slowly. His skin didn't glow like hers, but his heartbeat echoed through the walls. The seed inside him hummed. Not a weapon, not a monster, just potential. He walked to the control core and placed his hand on the interface. The system responded like it had been waiting. Energy surged outward, and then everything exploded. But not with fire. A wave of light burst from the station, stretching across space. The ships outside were caught in it, their weapons shut down, their engines froze. Some turned away, others vanished, not destroyed, just erased. Maury stood on the edge of the landing bay, mouth open. Jace stepped through the smoke, eyes calm. The seed was quiet inside him now, but he could feel it watching, learning, waiting. "Where's Ayla?" Maury asked. Jace didn't answer. He just looked at the stars. The human, who saved a starspace, was quiet again, not dead, not cold, just quiet. Station Hollow floated in low orbit above the edge of a collapsing star, surrounded by the scattered dust of retreating warships. The enemy had vanished into nothing, swallowed not by fire, but by light. Pure, living light that did not destroy, but unmade. And Jace Ramon stood at the center of it all, alive but not unchanged. He leaned against the wall of the stargazer, staring out at the stars with eyes that now saw more than they should. Every flicker of light told a story. Every drifting comet hummed with purpose. He could hear things in the dark, gentle, curious things like voices speaking from the folds of time itself. The seed was quiet inside him, not asleep, not gone, just waiting. It had chosen him once, and it had kept its promise. It had saved Ayla in a way, just not the way he wanted. She didn't vanish. Not completely. Sometimes when he closed his eyes, he could still feel her, like wind brushing his thoughts. Her laughter, soft and distant, touched his memory when he least expected it. She had given herself to protect what mattered most. Not power, not victory, just the right to live without being hunted. He had held her hand as the seed passed to him. He had seen her eyes one last time, full of peace, not fear. And then she had let go. And yet, she wasn't gone. Not really. After the wave of light cleared, Maury had helped him back to the stargazer. She said nothing, just walked beside him, silent and steady, her rifle slung over her shoulder, eyes watching the stars like she expected the past to return any second. They left Station Hollow behind, now glowing from within, its broken systems, restored by the energy that had passed through it. Kalen stayed, eyes wide, taking notes, speaking to machines that finally spoke back. News spread fast. They said the Empire's black ships had vanished. They said a hidden power had awakened and stopped a slaughter. They said a human and a dying alien had stood together and broken a curse older than memory. No one knew the full story. But legends don't care about details. And Jace Ramon became one. They flew to the outer rim after that. Quiet systems. Untouched worlds. Places where people still traded stories under starlight. Jace didn't speak much. But everywhere they landed, someone recognized the ship. Sometimes a kid would walk up and ask if he was the one who heard the signal. If he was the one who answered the call, Jace would smile, soft and tired. "I just picked up a weak transmission," he'd say. Anyone could have done the same. But they hadn't. They hadn't risked everything for a girl who wasn't human. They hadn't stood between warships and said no. They hadn't carried a starseed in their chest and still chosen to protect instead of conquer. So the people told stories. Not about empires, not about battles. About her. About the alien girl who fell from the stars, glowing like silver fire. About the way she spoke without words and how her tears shimmered like hope. About the human who listened, who carried her, who never asked for anything in return. Some said she became light itself. Others said she was still out there, reborn, in the seed, waiting for the moment she would rise again. Jace never argued with any of it. One night he stood at the edge of a cliff on a green world where the stars poured like waterfalls down the sky. Mori sat beside the fire, sharpening her blade. She didn't look at him when she spoke. "You ever wish you hadn't opened that vault?" she asked. Jace watched the stars. They blinked slowly, patiently. "No," he said. "I think I was always supposed to." Mori nodded, didn't push. He turned away from the cliff, walked back to the fire, and sat down. The flame danced quietly between them, and the seed pulsed once in his chest, soft and warm. He didn't know what it wanted. Not yet. But he would wait. And when the stars called again, he'd answer. Not because he was chosen, but because someone had once begged for help, and he had listened.